Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Breezewood Radio. Today, we're going to be talking about music, we're going to be talking about sports, and we're going to be talking about life. We're taking a little bit of a different route. Normally, we're talking with our artists, and we're talking about music and videos. But today, we are going to talk a little bit about sports, and I'm not a big sports guy, but I've got one here with me that is. I've got Josh Sparks here with me. Just moved to Nashville from North Carolina, and we're glad to have him. But he's one of those guys. He's kind of like my son. My son came up loving sports and knows all the people and all the players and all the coaches. In fact, he got so good at one time, Josh, and I think it was fantasy football, but he was doing one of those things to where some of the scouters called him to get some of the play information that he was putting online. So he loved all that stuff. I mean, an Xbox, the kind of stuff that you're doing, but he loved it and loved it and loved it. I, on the other hand, loved it when I was a kid. Played sports. Me and my brothers played sports. My brother played football and basketball and tennis, and I played football and basketball and all through school. But, my not my desires, but my hobbies changed over the years. But what I have noticed with a lot of sports guys, most of you guys love sports all the time, and it's the older you get, the more you like sports.
That is very true. Yeah, and without question, I only have really one off season. That's during baseball. I'm not a big baseball guy, but I try to keep up with everything that's going on in the sports world, especially college basketball. That we got March Madness going on right now.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, sir. And I got to pull for my heels. I got them going. They just won today. Won with the largest margin of victory, so I'm pretty happy about that. So we'll see how it goes.
And we had something going on here in Nashville this weekend. Was the SEC?
Yes, we did have the SEC tournament here. I believe Kentucky won that, and they're actually going to be in Carolina's bracket. They're the 2 seed in that bracket in the South.
Okay, now for us non-sports people, what does 2 seed mean, 3 seed, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, no worries. So what it is each bracket is broken up into, we have the South region, the East region, the Midwest region, and the East. Okay. And then those brackets are broken up from 1 to 16. So You'll have your top seed, which will be the best team in that bracket. And then
out of that 16?
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So it'll go 1 from 16.
Gotcha. Okay. And then what happens? Does it go down into another bracket or?
Right. So what it is essentially, you kind of look at it as a weekend tournament because you're going to play 2 games each weekend as you move on. Okay. So there's 68 teams. As you eliminate each team, you move further and further on. So you go from 64 to 32 to 6. You'll have the Sweet 16.
Gotcha.
Then you'll have the Elite 8, and then finally the Final 4, and then your national championship game.
Cool. Awesome, man. This is going to be way before your time, but I was telling you, I think a while back, the last baseball game that I watched, a guy named Phil Necro was pitching, and Gene Garber, and I don't even think you knew who they were.
I didn't. I sure didn't.
They were all old pros, kind of like Dr. J. It was all during that time. And now we're all born and raised in Alabama. My family was, so we loved the Atlanta Braves.
Yep.
So that was just something that you just kind of, because they were the closest thing to us, we pulled for the Braves. But again, even then, I never was one to really just want to sit down and watch a baseball game. But when you go to the games, it was a whole different ordeal. You kind of enjoyed it more, and I don't know if that's something that just because I wasn't that involved in it, that I just liked it because I was there, but. Man, do you enjoy just as much watching it on TV or listening to the radio as you do being there, or is it?
As far as baseball goes or basketball?
Well, any of it. I mean, since you're really into sports, I mean, I'm sure the best scenario is being there, but do you get a big, zeal from listening to it on the radio? Can you really get involved with it?
Basketball I can. That's actually my favorite sport without question. I don't really I prefer to watch football games on TV.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple of them, been to a Panthers game, been to the Carolina Stadium. It's a lot easier to watch, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
But listening to a basketball game on the radio while you're driving, I could definitely, I love listening to that. Any type of talk radio, that's any sports. just to get some more knowledge in me is always something great, and I always learn something new as well.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, as far as your question though, yeah, I definitely love listening to basketball on the radio. Now, any other sport like baseball, if I'm driving, it's going to put me straight to sleep. I might as well forget it.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's one of those things too. You got to, the more you know the players, the more you know you're part of the game, the more I guess you can follow it.
Yeah,
on the radio. It's kind of almost the same scenarios like watching NASCAR or something on TV versus trying to listen to them on radio.
I couldn't do neither one.
I know
of
the
them.
last time we were somewhere, and Oscar and his boy was
and Justin.
Yeah, Justin. They were in the camper and both listening to it on the radio. And I'm thinking, how can y'all listen to a NASCAR race?
I couldn't do it
and enjoy it. But of course, they're NASCAR fanatics. They love it.
Oh yeah,
they love it. But anyway, getting back to. Is this Sweet 16 going on now? What is this we got going on?
Right now, it's just the first rounds of March Madness, which is the NCAA tournament. So this is the first round of the game. So it's all 64 teams. There has been already a couple eliminations, a couple upsets so far. With Middle Tennessee moving on, they're a 12 seed. And I believe that, a couple buzzer beater games that happened. Michigan and Oklahoma State was a 1-point game, 90 to 91.
1 point game.
And then we also had Seton Hall losing to Arkansas on a flagrant foul. And Arkansas will be playing Carolina next.
So now, how did they lose to the foul? Was it a free throw?
Yeah. So what it is when a flagrant foul happens, not only do they get to shoot free throws, but then they get the ball back.
Oh wow!
So it ended up being a 6-point swing for them right there.
You got a prediction that you're thinking about, or a favorite team, or?
Yeah, I mean, of course I'm going to predict Carolina's going to win it all this year. We kind of got robbed last year. I'm not going to go into too much details about that, but most people know what happened with them losing on a last-second shot last year to Villanova.
Of the last game?
Of the national championship, yeah. And I hate it when every game Carolina plays this year. They've made sure that they've shown that shot or said something about them losing. And so it's getting a little old, and I think the guys have something to prove this year, and they're ready to get back. And like I said before, they just won today by the largest margin so far in the entire tournament. I believe it was 103 to 64.
So when do they play again?
They will play on Sunday.
They'll play on Sunday. Now, if they lose Sunday, what happens?
They're out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it'll be it for them. The season will be over. But I doubt they'll lose. They're playing Arkansas. It's going to be a tough game. Arkansas likes to get the ball up and down the court, which is right in Carolina's wheelhouse. They love to, play fast pace, get the ball up and down, get as many possessions as possible. So it should be a high-scoring game. And we'll see what happens.
Okay, now of course we know Carolina's your team. You're from Carolina. But as far as people that's not from Carolina, of course, you can't just say this because it's their state. But who is the known, who is everybody else thinking is going to run away with this thing?
Well, Villanova is going to be a good team. They're tough. They won it last year. That's the team that beat Carolina.
Oh, wow. So we got those two at it again.
So, they're going to be a tough out for anybody. They play great defense. Their coach is, he's strong. They got returners from last year. They got the guy, Chris Jenkins, who made the game winner last year against Carolina. They got Josh Hart, who's a great point guard. So we'll see what happens. I definitely see them going pretty far. And who knows? Maybe we'll see Duke and Carolina in the national championship game, and that'd be the ultimate.
Man, that
revenge.
would be something.
So we'll see. I mean, a couple people are, a lot of experts think that Duke can make it there. Me personally, I don't think they're going to be able to get past Villanova because they're in the same bracket.
I wonder how many times in history that two teams like that have ever played for the championship, like two state teams.
It's actually never happened.
I always wondered because I've always wanted Alabama and Auburn to play each other, especially in football.
I don't blame you. That'd be good.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But it's definitely never happened. No conference team has ever played one another for the national championship. So that would be a definite first.
And it would be a packed house.
And then not only that, but then you have Carolina Duke going at it, which is one of the biggest rivalries in sports. but probably right there with that Alabama-Auburn that you love.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll see.
And I got a question for you, and I brought this question up to my dad and my brother a while back. I thought that a guy that played for either Duke or North Carolina won, I thought there was a guy named Kyle Macy. Does that name sound familiar to you?
It does not. It could be a little bit older, though. I mean,
He may be, but my brother knew everybody and their brother, too. But he kept on saying, I don't know that name. I said, he was incredible. So I don't think I made him up. But
it could have been before my time. I'm still young, so I didn't keep up with him that much. I was more into soccer and golf at that point.
Well, the only reason I remember that guy is he was short, 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", somewhere around in there, which is short for basketball. But he could kill it from anywhere. I mean, just three-pointers. Hardly ever missed a free throw. But I'm pretty sure his name was Kyle Macy. So anyway, anybody out there, if you're hearing this broadcast, send me a message. Let me know who that was, who he was playing for. Now, when you said you just got through saying you was playing golf and doing all that kind of stuff, let's let everybody know what kind of golfer you are, man. I mean, did you go to college, or you was going to go to college for golf? I know you took it in high school and all those kind of things.
Yeah, I was in college for golf. I played at Lenore-Ryan, for a semester.
You did? Okay.
For a semester and a half, and I was there. I'm a decent golfer. I won't say that I'm one of the best. There's definitely a lot out there that are way better than me. But I can get it around. And,
but you got good enough to, people bragging on you at school, and you took it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I quit soccer my senior year to focus on golf, and that way I can, get into a school that I wanted to, and I saw that golf was going to be my route to where I needed to be, and it ended up turning out great for me. I went to school with Justin, my cousin up there at Lenore-Ryan. He was on the football team. So
did Justin ever play soccer?
No, he's in football and baseball. Baseball, yeah. And then I was golf and soccer and
Now how long has soccer been a big deal in North Carolina?
It really wasn't a big deal. It probably still isn't that big of a deal.
Well, I just know Carl, and then other friends of ours and family members that we have in North Carolina. They love soccer, and when we never did in Alabama, I don't know that we even. You could go buy a soccer ball, but soccer just wasn't that big of a deal, when I was coming up in school, at all.
It still really wasn't. I was at a predominantly football school anyways.
Yeah.
So, it was always taking a back seat to everything. I mean, it was football or nothing. It didn't matter what you played, football and basketball.
I think even here in Tennessee now they've got a rugby team starting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. I know they're about to get a soccer team, though.
Yeah, they got rugby, and I think it's in the high schools. I don't know that they're thinking about doing a professional deal, but rugby's a pretty tough deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't want any part of that.
I mean,
that's a sport that I'm going to stay out of.
That's pretty serious.
That and mixed martial arts. I'll stay out of those two.
Exactly.
I don't want anybody beating my face up.
No.
I look too pretty for that.
I hear you. If I'm going to get in a fight nowadays, I'm going to tell the guy to hurry up.
Yeah.
Hurry up and get over with.
Just don't hit me in the face. Anywhere but the face, and I'm fine.
There you go.
I'll be okay with it.
Well, good deal. Hey, we got Josh Sparks here with us talking about sports today. We're going to take a break, and we will come back shortly. Hey, my friends, just wanted to personally thank you for being a part of Breezewood Radio. I'm Trey Edwards, the creative director of Breezewood Productions, and we would love to be the production headquarters for your next project. We do everything in-house from start to finish. And with over 30 years of experience in the music production and corporate advertising industry, we are more than qualified to tell you what not to do, as well as what you need to do to be successful in these markets. So feel free to reach out to us at breezewoodproductions.com. We have offices here in Nashville, Tennessee, and also Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay, we're back here at Breezewood Radio, and we've got a visitor with us. Larry Stewart, the lead singer of Restless Heart, was in the studio doing a demo, so we dragged him in here. Josh Sparks is still here with us, and we've been talking about sports and I keep calling it Sweet 16. It's not Sweet 16. It's not.
It's the NCAA tournament. We are
March Madness.
Yeah, March Madness. That's it. Is there a Sweet 16?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Is it
that's
called
where
Sweet?
That's where they are now. Now they're going to work their way to the Elite Eight and then the Final Four.
But is it really called Sweet 16?
It is.
For this segment of it.
Oh, because that's what when I was doing photos. That was always a Sweet 16. I didn't remember being in basketball too. Well, cool. We just finished doing some demo work, and now we're back talking about sports again. And Josh, how are you feeling about what's happening now in the basketball tournaments? Is your team winning?
They are barely, man. It was definitely a scare with Arkansas. I tell you what. But we got by it, and Carolina's the only ACC team left in the tournament. So we'll see how it goes. They played this weekend against Butler. That's always a tough one, but we'll find out.
What about you, Larry? Is your team still in the running?
Same with Josh. Man, barely hung on by a thread. My Kentucky Wildcats yesterday against Wichita State. And man, what a great game that was. But I don't know how we won, but we did. So we play. I forget who we play.
You got UCLA next.
UCLA. See, I don't know. I don't know about that. UCLA. A lot of people have picked UCLA to win it,
even
though they're a 3 seed.
It's going to be really tough and Carolina and them are in the same bracket as well. So
it's getting tough now.
So if Carolina wins and Kentucky wins, we'll be playing each other next.
That'll be fun.
So we'll see. I think it'll be a good game. You know, Kentucky gave us a good beating last time, but we lost by 1 to them. But we'll see how it goes.
Larry, did you go to Kentucky?
No, I'm just from Kentucky. So I bleed blue. I bleed a little red too. Louisville Cardinals, of course, they got beat yesterday. But I'm more of a UK basketball fan.
Well, where did you play baseball at?
At a junior college up in Kentucky.
That was in Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I heard you and Josh talking earlier about your baseball time. Was you planning on that being a career?
Well,
hoping it would be.
In my stupidity, maybe. Yeah, I grew up, in a sports family. Just I love to play. I played all the sports in high school, and then I went on to play college baseball for 2.5 years. And I talked to some scouts here and there.
Wow.
We had a great program there at the community college that I was at in Kentucky, and talked to some people. But I think that my journey went the right direction.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So,
but was those two roads ever conflicting each other? I mean, was there ever a point to where you had to decide, I'm either going to be a musician or I'm going to be a baseball player?
Yes. But I didn't make the decision because I was too stupid to know what I was supposed to do. So God stepped in. And I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding because, and in all seriousness, when I got to Belmont University to play baseball, I was struck down with mono and hepatitis.
Oh wow, man! Hepatitis kills people.
Well, this one here was the more mild kind that goes with mono.
Yeah.
But I had been playing baseball since I was 5, and I was in my junior year and working at MCA Music and the Country Music Hall of Fame, and I started kind of meeting some people there at Belmont, and one of the first guys I met was a guy named Gordon Kennedy, who ended up writing "Changed the World" for Eric Clapton.
Right.
But I started going, for the first time in my life, it's cool to be a musician. Because where I grew up, it was not cool to be gospel piano player for his dad there in Western Kentucky. That was not cool for a high school linebacker and a baseball player to be doing.
Gotcha.
In his off time. So anyway, so when I got to Belmont, that happened. I got struck down. I decided, I'm done with this. I want to go, finish my education and get in the music business.
So when you started in the music business, what was the first things you were? Was there a Larry Stewart artist before Restless Heart?
Not really. I started singing demos.
Oh, okay.
When I was working at MCA, people like Dave Loggins and Don Schlitz and all these writers would hear my voice, and then when I was working at the Country Music Hall of Fame, my boss would let me clock out and go to Tree or to Sony or somewhere to sing demos,
oh, cool.
And then go back to so it really helped me out. But no, I was not. Then I started singing jingles.
Right.
I started to fly.
That's right. I remember that now.
Back in the beautiful days of jingles. And I'd fly to Chicago about once every 2 weeks. I'd go up and go, take it to Midas. And they'd send me checks, and I'd go back home.
And they kept sending checks.
Yes. It was a beautiful thing back then. So that's what got me started singing in the studio. But I did not set out to do it. I had to be led.
Yeah.
that direction. I'd never fronted a band. I'd never really, other than church, gotten up and entertained anyone. It was just, it just happened. I met some guys there again in Belmont. Dave Ennis, our keyboard player at Restless Heart, and then some other guys met in the studio or around town in music functions, and one thing led to another, and they asked me to join this band.
Wow.
And we ended up
So
calling
y'all
it
wasn't like
Restless Heart.
high school friends that played and like the Eagles, kind of.
No.
Yeah.
Now, we came together in pairs. The drummer and the bass player, John and Paul, were in the boys' band together way back when. And then Dave and I just played around town and at Belmont, so we knew pairs. But those guys are from Oklahoma.
Wow.
So there's a kind of an Oklahoma music mafia thing going on there. Tim Dubois, who is the founder, Scott Hendricks. They're all from Oklahoma. So I'm the odd man out from the Kentucky. Now, John is from Syracuse, New York, but he married a girl. One of his 4 marriages from a girl from Oklahoma. so I'm the only one that doesn't have any Oklahoma ties. But that's kind of how it happened. And then Thanksgiving of 1983, they asked me if I wanted to join a band, and I said no.
Wow.
And they said, well, just, Tim said, go home and have some, Thanksgiving meal and think about it and talk to your family and come back. And I came back. I'll call you Tuesday at noon. I was working at the Country Music Hall of Fame. So I was called a stock clerk.
Wow.
Country Music Hall of Fame.
Now, Larry,
go ahead, Josh.
why was the reason why you said no the first time?
Because I never had really fronted a band. I mean, here I was in college, just graduated from college. I have a fiance. And so can't you see it now? A college education, you go to your fiance's father and go, Mr. Dunn, I would like to marry your daughter, but I'm going to join a country band and hit the road for the rest of my life. That wouldn't have gone over very well.
Not at all.
What were you thinking, like as far as like a job? What were you going to?
Like I was going into the business part, working for a record label, working for a publishing company, working for a performing rights organization. I was already kind of in. My godfather worked for BMI. So I was thinking about that. I just really didn't, I had no experience.
Right.
Other than I started developing my voice and people started hearing it. And so I had to figure out how to front a band. I had to learn how to play acoustic guitar because I'm a piano player. And so that's why I said no at first. But then when I went back after Thanksgiving on the Tuesday at noon that Tim said he was going to call, he called and we talked about what we ate and all that stuff. And then he said, well, you going to do it? You going to be in this band with us?
But did you know who the band was then?
I just knew the guys, but we didn't even have a name.
Yeah.
We just knew the guys and my head went no and my mouth went yes for some reason. Totally out of control. And I broke out into a sweat and I said, what have I just done? I just joined a band and I wasn't going to. And I did. And that band became Restless Heart.
Oh, wow. Now, how did y'all come up with Restless Heart? Like, who came up with the name?
Well, we had already had our first album recorded. Mm-hmm. Eight-sided RCA album recorded. And when we signed with them, they were going to put out a single in January of 1985. We had no name for the band. So we had to lock ourselves in a room and come up with a
Was there any names that didn't work?
Oh, we terrible names, man. It was awful. It just couldn't figure it out. But Restless Heart happened to be a song on that first album. And our guitar player, Greg, said, what about Restless Heart? And it just had a cool ring to it. So we went, brilliant. So
exactly.
Now I have to know what were some of those names that y'all were coming up with in there. Do you remember any of them?
Gosh, Josh, that was so long ago. We just took adjectives and body parts and just tried to put it in. Then finally we came up with Restless Heart.
Been a lot better than broken leg. Or fractured hip. Fractured hip.
Kind of like that. Kind of a rock band.
Oh, Lord. Of course, nowadays it would be the deplorable fours.
There you go.
I like it.
Maybe y'all can start using that now.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Well, Josh, anything you're the sports guy.
Yeah, I mean,
anything you want to know about Larry's baseball career or anything like that?
Yeah, me and Larry were actually talking a little bit earlier too about this, and I was telling him, I tried to do a little research on him, and
found out I was too old. There was no records from that far back.
But yeah, he was just telling me a little bit about his what happened at Belmont. And where did you go to junior college in Kentucky? Where was that at?
It was in Paducah, Kentucky.
Okay.
Paducah Community College. We were like ranked 6th in the country, so we were getting we got a bunch of great players from the Louisville, Kentucky area.
Gotcha.
So we're getting a lot of attention from scouts and stuff, and people would come out. Okay. And a cool little story about that, though, my father, knowing people in the business here in the music business, when we came to play Volunteer State, a community college up in Hendersonville, he got in touch with some producer, Joe Mascao, who's the music director for Elvis for years, and all. Got in touch with the coach at Belmont and said, "We have this guy that we want you to go see. He's da-da-da." And for some reason, he and the coach came and watched me play at Volunteer State. They made a big deal about, "Will you please go see this kid? He's got, whatever. We're trying to get him to Nashville." And so they came, and I hit 2 home runs in that game. I've never hit 2 home runs in a game in my life.
That's time to do it.
And they offered me a scholarship right after this. It was a doubleheader.
Oh,
and
wow.
they offered me a scholarship, and here I'm off to Belmont.
And you said you played outfield?
I played left field and center field.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but that didn't last long because of my illness. But that got me to Nashville like I was supposed to be, instead of going up to somewhere else, somewhere to play baseball and chase an empty dream. So it all worked out.
That's crazy that if you hadn't have gotten sick.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I wasn't smart enough to know exactly what I wanted or what I was supposed to do or what it was really, everything was just, I was led where I was supposed to go.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then for it to be going this long, I mean, there's no doubt that was what you're meant to be doing.
It's going to be, let's see, what is this, 87? I mean, what is that? It's going to be 34 years Thanksgiving. Oh, wow. So we're talking about 33 and a half years now, so.
We got about 3 minutes left. So what is the future for Restless Heart?
Staying alive long enough to, we're going to be touring again this year. Wow. Actually leaving and go to Florence, Oregon for 2 shows. Are
you still trying to do more dates or less dates? Or
we'll do about 70 to 75 dates. Yeah. That's what we normally do. And as you well know, I'm working on a project as well, and looking forward to just delving into that a little bit, just kind of doing it for fun, giving kind of a last-ditch effort to really go in and make a record that I wanted to make that I have not really been able to do in a long, long, long time. The songs that I wrote. And
we'll bring you back in and talk about that in depth.
Got it.
And maybe play some cuts.
Absolutely.
From this one. That'd be real cool.
Yeah. And then Josh and I are going to take off and go play a little golf.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking about that earlier, trying to find a golf course around here that's going to be cheap enough for
it's
both of us.
2 of them.
There you go.
Be real close,
yep.
Close by.
That's right.
I'll drive.
Hey, that
you
works.
won't even have to move your
that
car.
That works.
Hey, some of the funniest things in the world is watching musicians play golf.
Well, this is a golfer. Right here.
Oh yeah, no,
this guy's a college.
He'll be one you're watching and hate him while he's playing.
Oh yeah, he's going to hit it 300 yards and about 50 yards past me.
Guitar player. I can't think of the guy's name now, but the other day was in the studio and he asked me if I want to go play, and I said sure. So I get back and then I'm thinking, you know what? It's been so long since I've been to play golf. I don't even remember where my clubs are.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
Did you ever find them?
No, they're probably in the storage building or they're at my mom and dad's in North Carolina. So,
well, you know it's bad. I got mine in the kitchen right now.
You do? Are they still in the kitchen?
They're still in the kitchen, ready to go.
Mine are ready to dust off. I haven't played yet, so we need to go.
Definitely. And good luck to your Kentucky Wildcats, too. Good. Hopefully we'll see them in the next round.
Good luck to your Heels. I hope we get to play each other.
Yeah.
Now, who do y'all really think is going to wind up winning the whole thing?
Well, I don't think the Cats will because they're too young. I mean, they just don't have the depth. I mean, North Carolina could. A lot of people like UCLA, even though they've got a 3 seed. They're really, really good. So I don't know.
They are. You know,
Carolina could do it.
Me personally.
No, you can't go with who
Hey,
you want to win.
I'm going to go with what my heart wants.
There you go.
Instead of what my head.
It's okay. It's okay to do that.
And Carolina's going to win it just because of what happened last year. And I feel like they're motivated after that last second buzzer beater shot that just crushed them. And they have everybody coming back except for 2 players. I think they're on a mission. We're gonna take it home this year.
Well, we will see what happens. And that's all the time we have today on this episode of Breezewood Radio. Keep tuning in. We're going to be posting the videos and the audio at breezewoodproductions.com. We'll also be posting them and sharing them on social media. And remember, if you're an artist, if you are in the business world, and you need corporate advertising, photography, graphic design, social media marketing, we can help you take your next project from start to finish. You don't have to go back and forth to different people. We can do it all in-house. And we always, always, always put you first, and we'll do our best at making your dreams reality.